Morning y'all. So I did one of my world famous Twitter polls yesterday about gap testing. Yesterday's question, lots of you not obviously having gap tests, which I think is quite interesting. Lots of friends around today. It's going to be quite a loud day. I'm going to Dawlish test clubs. So 52% of you said you've not had a gap test, where 24% of you said you did. The other 24% asked to ask a senior. So we're going to continue on the theme of gap testing today. So today's question is, do you use a hybrid or a long iron? Someone scored. So long iron or hybrid, obviously I'm a hybrid player, and today's vlog I'm going to talk to you about why I'm a hybrid player over a long iron player. We're actually going to show you some results on the course as well about the difference between these two clubs. Also answered yesterday's question, turn the coffee machine on yet. When it comes to gap testing, the big thing I see is people stall. So their distances stall, often from 7 iron upwards, so 6, 5, 4, 3, they all start to bunch up, which is again why I want to talk about these two today, long irons or hybrids. Also obviously everyone thinks they hit it much further than they actually do, but we can give that as a given. Just look at Twitter, YouTube comments, online in general. Hybrid, long iron down there, hit the thumbs up button as always, and don't be afraid to subscribe. Which one would you use or do use or think about using? So let's take a quick look at some numbers 4 iron to hybrid. So hybrid for me carrying 194, but peak heighting at 32 yards, launching up at 14.5. If you look at my 4 iron carrying 193, peak heighting at 26, so averaging 6 yards lower in height, launching at nearly 12 degrees and spinning at full 2. So basically the hybrid's launching higher, going the same distance through the air as a 4 iron, then there'll be a difference on obviously rollout. 4 iron's going to come in lower and run on more. So for me, the higher launch, the more dropping stop on that hybrid, it feels like I've got more control over what happens at the other end with that club. So what's given me the different launch of these two clubs is obviously on a hybrid we've got weight which is pulled off the face, which in theory might let the face kick forward a fraction more. It's going to help me get ball up in the air a little bit faster. Where a 4 iron, and we're going to use today the TMB Titleist, which is quite a friendly 4 iron, CG very much not as anywhere near as far off the face. It's going to give that more truer to the loft launch, delivered loft. And then the other thing that I love about a hybrid is we get roll and bulge, so not a straight face. We get, like a driver, a curved face, where a 4 iron obviously we get the flat straight face. What this will do is when I toe the ball with this club, it's going to start further right, that's then going to gear back a bit more towards target. So if I hit it off the toe, it's going to put a little bit of jaw spin on. If the ball doesn't start further right, which obviously it will because that toe is pointing slightly further right than the middle, then I'm going to miss left all the time. So the fact that the weight is off the face can increase gear effect, so turning the ball in the air and off-centered hits, but the roll and bulge is there to help me. So when I hit all across this face, the club is helping, where this club, for me, it's going to be a fraction less. Right, it's sunny, it's lovely, it's time to get to Dawlish. Hello, lovely Dawlish. Right, 200 yards out, raised green. I'm going to hit from a flat lie to start, 4 iron and my hybrid. Both of these are 23-degree lofts. My face ball's going to be my hybrid, and the red and white True Viz is going to be the 4 iron. This green is surrounded by gorse. Let's show you what happens and see if I can hit a decent shot with both. So that's the hybrid slightly at the bottom, middle of the green. We'll get up and show you that. 4 iron next, and this is TMB Titleist. So this is a friendly 4 iron as well, you got to remember. You could see from the launch data that they were very similar in their carry numbers, and I'm trying to land this on the green. So hybrid hit from the bottom of the club slightly, has landed kind of here and then just rolled forward up there. Face ball birdie putt. Now the 4 iron has landed just in the fringe here, more to the right, and then just coming in that bit low has run through off to the right, requiring me to do what I'm not good at. Now both of those strikes were very similar, low on the face. The hybrid being low, maybe a fraction towards heel side, started further left and then cut to the middle of the green, where the long iron didn't. It started kind of straight and then just cut off to the right again. Fraction low, maybe a fraction on the heel side. For me, that's where the hybrid is just going to win. Not saying if I do that test again, the 4-iron won't win. I just think if we repeat it enough times, the extra launch, the roll and bulge is helping me more than it's harming me. That's a birdie. So the flip side to this is if you put those approaches on an uphill lie with the hybrid, bit of breeze here at links core, that's maybe where I feel like I would prefer a long iron, but I'm able to sacrifice that for, again, the amount of times the hybrid helps me and just make do with what I've got. And these are the choices, decisions you need to be making. I'm not saying this isn't an advert for hybrids, because there are plenty of players, Rory, off 7 Rory, Coach Lockie, who I would say are probably better with long irons than they are hybrids, and you might be one of those. But this is kind of the decision process you want to be thinking about when coming to hybrid or iron. Now the hybrid launches up, stops quicker, that's all great, but there's sometimes when you want to keep it low, isn't there? So I'm going to try both to knock them down, punch shots. I could use this shot to get out from under trees. I could use it off the tee in this situation. So we've got a bank up the right, it's a links course, the wind's coming off the right. I don't want to send it up in the air and guess how much the wind is going to move it. So the 4-iron, this feels very easy to knock down, very easy to keep low. And just punch forward. Watch our vlogs, Rory plays this shot off the tee, Matt, and even just knocks an iron up there just to keep it low and moving it forward. That's middle of the fairway, stay pretty much below or kind of not much higher than the bank, and it's just easy. I could do that all day. Now I can do the same with a hybrid, but it doesn't feel as natural, as comfortable, and I'm fighting obviously a little bit of height because this one does pop up in the air. And it's a shot I've started using more and more. That's got a little bit more turn on it than the iron. I just feel like with a hybrid, the patterns are a little bit more variable when I start de-lofting lots. Again, the 4-iron wins, but I don't play that shot very often. I'm comfortable I can hit my hybrid straight, so I would just pop it up in the air. And remember, I've got different lofts of hybrids, something that lots of people forget to do. So I'm hitting different distance numbers with my hybrids. So I might just hit a softer, lower lofted hybrid. That would go lower.
This is a Ryan Little production.
Hybrid or 4-iron out of different lies. Let's do a little kind of show of test of where I would want to game and not game. So plenty of grass around the ball, all going with the ball and sat up a little bit on it. 4-iron hybrid, absolutely. Sat down, a lot of grass around that. Hybrid, hoping for that high pop ball, definitely would give it a go. 4-iron would be asking some big questions from there. Fairway ball, decent lie, but downhill. If I had to get this up in the air, 4-irons, it's not going to go over anything. Bunkers, lakes, those kind of things, and stop at all. Now hybrid's going to be a push to get it to stop as well, but that extra height that you saw on the launch monitor would make me take it on. Give it a go. So again, for me, the hybrid would win. Bare links lie onto a downhill slope. A hybrid has benefits. For me and the style of golfer I am, I just feel it's more versatile. Right, last lesson, I'm going to use these 3. I had a sleepover. I'm quite young, so I'm okay. And I stayed up too late. Little tackers. And we're going to use my hose. Don't post comments about how twisted it is. That's just how it is. Right, all the controls, the hose. These 2 are marking how far the hose goes. I'm controlling the power. Keep it still, Orla. So if I turn off the power, there we go. Look, she runs out of power and the hose doesn't fly anywhere. So fire the hose. Keep the hose firing at one trajectory, Orla. with the ground. Milo, stand level with where that hose is finishing on the ground. So he's about there. Perfect, I would say there. Now, what changes how far this hose goes is if you raise the trajectory. So raise the trajectory. Stand back a bit, Milo. So look, she's now hitting the fence. Go and stand by the fence for now. So the power's not changed, but I've changed the launch. By changing the launch, I've changed the distance. And you want to think of this like hybrid and long iron. So think about that. If I'm running out of power, lots of people looking for more power to help me get the ball going a little further, I change the launch. This is what big cavity back irons do. But remember, you've got loft on your clubs. That outweighs that. That gives you the launch more than maybe any kind of weighting system. But when it comes to your lower lofted clubs, you'll get to a point where the launch just isn't enough for you to reach the fence. I told you to fire the hose, Orla, so it's fine at the fence as well. So finding your optimum launch and then playing with that launch with things like hybrids will help you at that top end of the bag and stop that bunching up that I see from gap testing over and over and over again. It's an interesting point, and I think one that lots of people forget to think about. Wasn't that interesting, you three? Have a good weekend, everyone. See you next week. Also, have a good bank holiday, everybody. Yeah, well, you guys are all in London, aren't you? So I bet I might as well just get on and work, you know.
Oh, sob stories. Get the violins out and you never go away.
Post comments down below. Let me know where you're playing this long weekend in the UK bank holiday weekend. Let me know. As always, hit the thumbs up button, and we'll see you next week.